We are live. Live. Awesome. So, hello everybody. We are here again. We made it live. How is everyone?
I'm doing amazing considering the day that I've had so far.
Yes.
We're not going to get into that, but it's been a day amongst the days.
It's been a day. I honestly, to be honest, now that you're saying that, actually, I'm also doing really well, even though I've also had a super crazy day. And I can only credit it to, the amount of safety we just find in our system and just the perspective that we have and the space that we're able to give to ourselves and the awareness also, like calling ourselves out for our own bullshit and just like, owning our mistakes and taking ownership and just finding that integrity, like whenever you're like, okay, this was not how I want to show up in the world, and I can recognize that, and maybe I'm not able to rectify that 100% right now, but how can I look into rectifying that?
Absolutely. And we have been talking about self-worth, and we've had some beautiful, quiet, stop, look, and listen times around that topic. And I have just learned something beautiful last week after our podcast about it. It seems like these podcasts are a little bit of a catalyst, to go in deeper for us as well, of course. I mean, sure. We're the one who is generating this. So what I learned was it's the beauty of really creating space around yourself, that around your own authentic self, your center, there's this stillness, and then there's this space that is just so quiet and still. And I'm starting to see the separation of that inner world to the outer things that are just always going, coming, people's energies. I've dealt with different businesses lately, big deliveries that gone haywire, expensive grill that huge part is missing, $1,000 sitting in a car dealership that I need to get out of. And just today, my tire blowing up. And, it's all within these past 3 days.
Wow.
And I noticed myself that because I have intentionally dived into curiosity of the self-worth and really exploring that there's no price that I can put on myself.
Wow.
That my worth is your worth. The listener, whoever you are, your worth is, we can't even talk about it. It's immense. It's never ending. The world can put a price tag on something, but this is something that we can't touch it. That's song, you can't touch it. Can't touch this one. So if you can't touch this one, there's this space around it, just like a castle. I was actually having a mini sitting. Mini is this quiet sitting with Gia Simmons. And we sat together, and in that sitting, I just saw this vision of this huge castle. And you know how around the castles, I think she mentioned it's called a mount, that there's this ditch, and the bridge comes over it whenever they want to. What is it called?
A moat.
A moat. okay, a moat. So there's this moat around us.
Yeah.
And only
I
when
like that
you
one.
allow that bridge to come, can somebody come through it. But if you don't put that bridge over there, that moat is there. And, you know, the king himself, the queen herself is sitting over there. They don't have to explain to nobody, nothing.
Mhm. Oh, trust me, I know about that mode very well. It's if some of our listeners are familiar, you know, with the 5 personality patterns. So it's like people like me who tend to run that, you know, sort of earthy energy type. It's like we're like, this is my mode, bitches, and don't you dare, like, yeah. So I totally get that. Yeah, it's oof, yeah, no, I've also been really playing out with self-worth, or more sort of exploring it, right? Like it's, and I think something that I would like to bring up here is that, you know, whenever it's like, let's say when you start setting boundaries with somebody, it's like when you've had no self-worth, or when you've had no boundaries your whole life, you've just been a really good little girl or a good little boy, and now you know, you're like, damn it, like, you know, I'm this badass person and I'm gonna set some boundaries, and like you don't really know how to do it. And so it's like, imagine it like a pendulum. Like if you're really on this one edge, then like once you start setting those boundaries, like once you go for, like, if the pendulum is here, it first needs to go all the way out, and then it's gonna gradually balance itself. And it's like, it's really uncomfortable, because first you're like, me, like I'm over here, I don't deserve anything, and then you're like, bitches, I deserve fucking everything. And then you're like, people are like, is that who you've become now? And you're like, oh no, I've been so mean, I need to be nice. And then you go back there, like, I need to be this small little girl, and like, you know, and then you're like, no, like I don't know anybody anything. And like eventually you find that balance, but at the beginning, like it gets to be really clumsy, or like you just don't really know, like you just don't really have this discernment, like you don't know how it feels, you don't know what's right, because you've just been so on the edge your whole life. So you just, it's a hard, you know, like you don't know what's extreme, you don't know what's not enough, you don't know what's too much. So I would just invite anybody here
Mm.
might be, you know, experiencing or exploring these things and trying to find, you know, a more balanced, a more centered approach, a more, you know, self-worth or boundaries or whatever, to just be really gentle with yourself and just really observe. Is like, okay, maybe I've overdone it, you know, and maybe all I get to do is just, you know, apologize, but not be too harsh on myself for like being a little bitchy, or your words coming out too hard, or like, you know, over asked, like, you know, going like a bit too high with your self-worth and be like, I deserve everything right here right now, you know, like it's just you know, if maybe things are gonna happen, right, but like you need to find your own balance, and that's okay. Just be really patient and really graceful with yourself.
I love that. Yeah, that is so true. You know, yeah, just allowing yourself to have that full experience and not listen to, just tune out from the criticism, the inner critic and the outer critic from other people. You know, just tune it
Yeah,
out and allow yourself to have that experience.
yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
I love it. It's part of all of that self-worth. You know, I've been doing this, just putting out videos, podcast, I mean, not podcast, sorry, but reels of just me dancing, you know, and that's part of my practice right now, you know, that, hey, I'm just going to be courageous right now. I'm allowing myself to have that experience. And while I do that, I'm letting it all go. And I'm allowing the endorphins to really just be part of my body. And there's so much that happens, you know, like you said, when the pendulum goes, you know, however it goes, like that or like this, there's so much that happens on these extreme, you know, fringe areas, because our system can go in like into this shock. But you know, all that is happening inside is so valuable. And eventually we're going to find that when we just have compassion to ourselves. Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that, Claire.
Wow, I love that too. Yeah, Yeah, compassion. So we've been through like that patience with self, that like quiet, observation, exploration, like, and so, and the other bit that I've mentioned was that awareness, right? Like having the ability to understand what you're doing in your mind. It's like, oh, look at me. And we don't necessarily have that, right? But like sometimes we do, and sometimes other people, even if we know these things, but when we're in it, like we don't necessarily realize. And sometimes somebody else can point us to like, hey, could it be that, you're doing this to yourself, basically? Like, could it be that your brain is going to that place because it doesn't feel safe right now? And so from here, I would like to bridge to the topic that we wanted to sort of, step into today, which is the upper limit problem. So we got that from a book by an author called Gay Hendricks. Is it called The Upper Limit, the book? What is it? No.
No, it's The Big Leap.
Oh, The Big Leap, right.
Yes. Recommended 100%.
Fantastic book.
Mhm.
So Kirsi, do you want to explain the concept, or do you want me to explain it?
I would want you to just go ahead and do that.
Okay.
That'd be great.
So the reason why I'm bridging into this, we actually just like literally had that conversation recently when I like, you can turn it into a verb. You can say like, I've been upper limiting, or Kirsi has been upper limiting. So basically, in like very briefly, you can explain it in terms of like, last week we talked a little bit about our like energetic minimum and energetic maximum, like how, our self-worth, we believe we're worth something, and we don't go underneath it, or we can't really go above it because we think we don't deserve it. So there is this sort of notion that we don't think we can allow ourselves to have life that good. We're like, oh, life can't possibly be that good, or like life can't possibly be that good for me because then I feel guilty for other people, right? And so if life starts getting really good, you're like basically starting to expect the other shoe to drop, right? Like you're just like, but like, or like I used to do that. Like I always used to have so much guilt. So like if people were like, oh my God, your life is amazing, you're traveling here and there, and I'm like, oh, don't you worry, it's not all that rosy. Like actually this happened and this, and I don't have money, and like I don't really like my job. Like, yeah, it's nice, but life is really a struggle. So don't you worry, I don't have it all that rosy, right? And you just like start bringing your attention and everybody else's attention to all the shitty things, which are not even maybe important, but you're like, yeah, like don't you forget that there's so many shitty things. Like, don't you dare thinking that your life is all that good, because you don't, like, it doesn't get to be that way, right? And so we all have these beliefs that, because we never had it that good, so we're not really familiar in that territory. And so if life starts getting that good, our brain is like, I don't know what happens there, like, and so we have all these crazy beliefs. It's like, if I started making a lot of money, my relationships will suffer and everybody's going to be judgmental and my marriage will fall apart. Or like, if I have two beautiful kids, then I'm not going to have any time for my husband and all the romance is going to go away. Or like, if I get this promotion, then all, my colleagues are going to hate me because I'm now promoted and they're going to be jealous. So all of my relationships are going to go to hell. Or if I have my own job, my own business, and I have the freedom that I want, then I'm going to be working too much that my health is going to go to shit, or whatever this belief is, right? It's like, we don't believe we can have it all. And we believe that there's always going to be some suffering. And like, so when life starts actually getting really good, like we either create something, or like in my mind, we just, the way we perceive things, or we get sick, or we have an accident, or, like your relationship is going so well with your loved one. So you somehow started creating arguments because you just don't think it can be that good. So you're just like, And so it's like, you think it's crazy, but it's like our brains are literally that crazy. Like our subconscious mind, it's like running this whole thing, like my body, my brain, my relationships, my life. It's crazy. Like it's literally, it's so smart, we don't even know how smart it is, right? And so it's constantly working in the, in the background. It's like we don't even know, but it's constantly scheming. It's like, I don't feel safe having life that good. So what can I create that it's gonna like create a little bit of something shitty so I can stay in that comfortable place, not here, but maybe just here, where I have like something good, but something really shitty and smelly, just so that I can stay somewhere in between, right? And so, yeah, so that's the upper limit. It's like, when something really good is going on, it's like all of a sudden your brain like creates something to be pissed about or sad about or sick or whatever. so that, you know, you bring some of these bad emotions so that you balance a little bit out. Kirsi, do you have something to add, or do you have some sort of examples you could give us?
So I do both, but I would like to ask you, do you think this is a safety issue? Like you mentioned we go into a new territory. So, you know, our head, we can have all kinds of dreams and even visions of our success. And then we get into that taste of that success. But it's almost like our body, there's so much going on over here, and maybe we don't feel safe.
Mm.
So then we pull ourselves back and we actually create these events and
Mhm.
Even arguments with our loved one, or you know, situations at the workplace, and maybe you can even see a repetitive pattern that every time you get to a certain point, there's always that one thing, and that you get pulled back. Like I can definitely see that. And yeah, do you think it's a safety thing?
I think that's a great insight, and I think you're right here. You know, actually, when you really think about it, it's like most things happen that because we don't feel really safe, right? It's like we don't feel settled. Like it's really like the reptilian brain has one function: to keep us alive, not keep us alive and thriving, not keep us alive and healthy, not keep us alive and healthy, not keep us alive and connected with other fellow human beings, but alive. So like if it knows like this way I can stay alive. The other thing, I haven't really tried that yet, so I can't really know for sure if you're gonna stay alive or not. So I'd rather just stay here because I know you're alive here. And yeah, maybe it sucks a little bit, and maybe you're not so healthy, and maybe your relationship here and there is not the best, but you're alive, so I'll just keep you here. Like it's safety, right? It's let's just be certain on this. So there's always this, like, you know, reptilian brain that it's like, let me just keep you alive. This is good, man. Like just you know, it's
Whoa.
like that meme with that guy sitting with all the fire around, and it's like, this is fine. So there's always that safety piece, but then, you know, there's also this self-worth that we talked about. It's like, you know, I don't know how many of you are familiar or not, or believe in the law of attraction. So the law of attraction, it's not, you don't get what you want in life. You get a reflection, or like an energy match for who you're being, and like who are you being, who you believe you are, right? So that's what we talked about last week about self-worth. It's like, I believe I'm this, I believe I'm, you know, a worker. I don't believe I'm a manager. I believe I'm, you know, an ordinary citizen. I don't believe I'm the president because I'm here and I'm not here, right? And so if you believe you're here, then the reality that matches this belief is going to come from over here. So if you believe I'm not worthy of having it all, having a great relationship, you know, great bank account situation, great house, great job, great whatever, then, you know, it's like you're going to get what you believe you get, right? And I guess it's also related to that fear, because it's like, again, like there's this fear, like I am this, and in order to have all that, I would need to be this, but I am not that, because, you know, maybe you are, but you don't perceive yourself that way. I feel I am here. And so imagine if there's this massive gap, like what's going to happen if they find out that I'm a fraud, right? Like what's going to happen if they think I'm this, but then they find out I'm only this? Like it's going to be, that's so scary. How scary is that?
Yeah.
Like it's
And
maybe.
hey, can we stay there for a minute? Because I want to bring in you know, the power of affirmations and power of visualization and, you know, power of creation. So you can definitely visualize yourself over here. You can, you know, say your affirmations that are here. You can even force yourself over there. But if your inner self, your inner worth is not aligned over here,
If
you know,
you
you're
don't
gonna
feel
come
safe
crashing
over
down,
there,
just like that. You're gonna come down. It's gonna look like something. You may
because
self-sabotage it, or, you know, somebody may sabotage it for you. And then for the rest of your life, you're going to blame that person because they did it. But really, it was your own self-worth. Let's take ownership.
Let's stay right back what you said. I believe your words were, if you don't feel comfortable over here, let's rephrase it. If you don't feel safe over here, right? That's what it is. Like, you don't feel
You don't feel
safe.
safe there.
You're like top of the mountain, like it could fall down any minute, right? Like it's yeah, it's not where you feel safe. It's because, you know, where do you feel safer? On your grandma's sofa when she's spoon feeding you, or a spoon feeding you, or on, like, you know, on the stage in front of 5,000 people? Where do you feel
Right. And, you
safer, right?
know, yeah. And I mean, this is going to be an introduction. We're going to take this a little shorter today, but we're going to definitely dive deeper into the upper limit problem next in our next podcast. But, you know, this is so interesting to really think about this, because the ego can keep you here. Ego has huge power, but then what are the values of ego? You know, the ego's values are so different than our authentic self, you know, that needs to bring the whole body, the inner self, foundationally, those values, whatever we, you know, connection, you know, honesty, whatever those are. But ego's values are different. They're like, no matter what it takes, I'm going to be here. I'm going to go ahead of you. I'm going to steal from you. I'm going to flirt with you. I'm going to marry you. I'm going to, you know, lie to you, whatever it is. The ego will do anything to go there and to stay there. And we do see that a lot of times. And I think a question a lot of times is that, well, how is that person in that position? And I know that their values are a bit corrupt, to say the least. So, but that's the power of creation. That's the power of ego, versus that we really land into that self-worth and become a very attuned to what are my values. And we build our foundation on those values, and the patience come in, because little by little, that foundation gets stronger and we get to those places. And really, we don't even get nowhere. The life comes to us. The opportunities present themselves because we become magnetic. We start being in that zone of genius that, yeah, we talk about.
That law of attraction, right? It's like,
Yes.
life doesn't give you what you want, it gives you a match for who you are being. So if you're being here, whatever's here is gonna come flocking to you. And when you're here, you can't really see, or you have a hard time seeing and stabilizing what's here. But when you're here, all of this is readily readily available to you, readily accessible. And if you're here, all of here is readily accessible for you. So exactly, it's you don't have to go out there and look for these things. It's like, once you shift, and once you stop seeing yourself here and start seeing yourself here, it's like, naturally, it's like all the things that are here, they just see you all of a sudden, because before they were here, they didn't see you because they don't go around and looking like this. But now it's like, you're here, like, here, we're all in this together, like, we're all here.
Remember when I mentioned to you in the beginning, you know, that I've had these series of events from these different companies, you know, grill parts missing, $1,000 locked into the auto dealership, delivery of dirt and mulch went just haywire. They brought me the wrong amount of different stuff. Rocks were too little, mulch was too much, and they rolled my front yard. And today I had a flat tire. And, you know, I am positive that I'm upper limiting. Not when we talk about this. Like, I really come into this, Kirsi, you are really upper limiting. And, you know, the thoughts that come to this mind right now about this, just to bring context. I've been doing a lot of reels. I've been presented with a lot of opportunities. I'm starting my parent coaching business. I'm building my website. Last month, I made more money in 1 month than I have ever made.
Wow.
Now I have zip in my account. So I'm definitely an
Well, you were
example of,
traveling like almost all
I
of last month.
traveled.
What are you
I
talking about?
traveled everywhere and it was amazing. It was so magical.
And you made more money than you ever did when you were just traveling the whole goddamn
Exactly.
month.
Exactly. I even made money with the air,
Oh, that's right.
yes, my, even the, what is that called?
The
Not the
flight
airplane, but
was delayed, and you like instead of spending money on your flights, you made money on your flights. Like,
yes, they gave me money, you know, $400. Just, I mean, I was on the plus on whatever. So
and the flight
yes,
was
it
like
was an
200, right?
explosion of success. And this month, I'm looking at this stuff, I'm like, wow, this is a different kind of experience. And I actually thought about it yesterday. I thought about Kirsi. Let's go into that feeling when you were going to see your brother and your mother. So you were giving. You were giving. You were doing this as a service to your family. All this money was coming in. And I said to myself, let's shift it now. How about you do this service to yourself? How about your life is now a service to you because you're worth it?
Yeah. I love
Yeah, I
that.
definitely feel something there. And I think the reflection, but you know, all we need to do is actually to become aware of this. I am coming fully aware that all these experiences this week are because of my upper limit. So what does that mean? How does that look like? Well, somewhere in the inside of me, my system is saying, well, it cannot be that good what it was last month. It cannot last this month.
Mhm.
So I'm
That
bringing
was
this
just
energy.
a coincidence. Like it was not real. Like, don't you
It was
dare
just
be
because you were
expecting
doing it
it.
for your family. They are worth it. But to do it for yourself, woo.
Oh my God. Can we
Mm,
talk about this little example that
mm,
I just feel like that would be such a good example because it's
mm.
also related to your family and your travels and like that self-worth and all that. But
Absolutely.
also I want to just preface this like sometimes, sometimes it's really something on the inside. It's like, you can be questioning like how the heck can I manifest like a company fucking my delivery up? Like how is that related to me and my upper limit? But like let's just believe for a second it is like, that like, or like an accident. You're like, I didn't cause this accident by purpose. It's like your subconscious mind is that smart. But like let's just put that aside for a minute. Like sometimes it can be really like something big, but sometimes it can just be a feeling. It's like, because at the end of the day, like feelings are the most important things at the end, because if you have everything in the world but you feel like shit on the inside, you don't have anything. Like you feel shit, like that's the only thing that matters. Like the car and is not gonna make you feel any better if you just feel shit, right? So it's like our feelings are actually extremely important. And so sometimes it can really just be creating a shitty feeling so that it just ruins everything. Like no matter how good the external world is, but if you start creating a shitty feeling on the inside, even if you take no action on the outside, like it can just spoil everything for you. So
Mm,
sometimes you can just start feeling angry or sad or disappointed, and you just like you feel like you're so right, like, and like your brain always finds something to create that feeling. It's like, oh, this person hurt me, or like, oh, this person bailed on me, or like, oh, like these people didn't give me that job, or like, oh, the cashier was nasty to me. How is everybody always nasty? It can be anything, but you're gonna find something to like justify yourself and be like, see, like the world is still shitty, like it's not all that good. But what's really happening is like you're having a feeling on the inside because you chose to self-sabotage your well-being. So, and then you might also, you might self-justify, and you might like create an experience on the outside if you just try to project, that emotion on somebody else. But, really like what it comes down to is like, what do I choose to see right now? Do I
Yeah.
choose to see this cashier that looked nasty at me? Or do I choose to see that I'm healthy, my family's amazing, my job's amazing, I have friends here, I have friends there. So Kirsi, I don't know if you could share your little experience from last month when you were traveling and like, all these good things were happening and your brain all of a sudden got like focused on this, like, oh, this is this one thing that's making me sad.
Which one are you talking about? The one where I wasn't able to be with my other friends.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So there are these beautiful beings, friends of mine, who I know from, like, okay, I got to meet Claire. That's a beautiful thing. But then there is another meeting that was right after my trip. And it was four of us. We were in a group, we're very tight together. And so three of them just happened to have a conversation. Just one thing led to another, and they found cheap flights, and boom, they were meeting each other. And I felt so left out. I found out it was just like they didn't plan it. And of course, they wanted me to be there. But my experience of that was, oh my, I was so hurt. All my parts of insecurity and unworthiness and not being included came online. And I had a full-blown parts, these insecure parts party. And because of our beautiful relationship, I was able to tell them that, hey, I feel this way. And they came, of course, to me, hey, we would love to have you here. We didn't never meet. This wasn't even planned like that. It just happened. And so for a moment, but then there's this healing part in it too. For a moment, I was really deep in myself, focusing on that, not remembering, hey, I'm here meeting my family. I'm having a beautiful time, a healing time with my brother and my mother. I'm meeting my beautiful friend, Claire. So all of these things were in my one hand, and on this one thing was on this other hand. And I was focusing on this one thing. But then again, I will say this, that this one thing allowed me to get in touch with something that was deep inside of me, that it's almost like it opened the wells of waters. It opened a deep healing within me. And actually, when I surrendered to it, when I surrendered to that healing, when I surrendered to those feelings of inferiority and sadness and despair and whatever I was feeling, I just surrendered to it, and I was able to communicate it openly. I didn't have to hold it back. I didn't have to hide it. I was able to communicate it openly. It brought a healing to me. And when I came back home, they just finished the meeting. They just flew back home. I was good. It was nothing. So just allowing yourself to be there. I know I have to go because I have to go and pick up that car that had that flat tire, and they're going to come and pick me up in a minute. But did you have something to say to this? I'll allow you to say, and then I would like to throw a challenge to our listeners.
So just really quickly, I just want to go back to the upper limit. Like, what is the upper limit? So if I can just dig a little bit deeper into your experience, if you allow me, Kirsi, because I was there and I'm familiar with it, like just to explain what was happening. It's not just that Kirsi was, having it good with her family and it wasn't a big deal that her friends were meeting somewhere else. What was happening was that Kirsi had not seen her family like for years. And I mean, for years,
6 years.
COVID, right? 6 years. And and like she loves her family, but it's been difficult at times, right? Like we have different lifestyles, so like it has not been easy to like communicate sometimes with her family. And after 6 years, she sees her family, and she was so like apprehensive. She was like, you know, when we haven't seen her, we get scared. Like, how is it going to go? Is it going to go well? Is it going to be horrible? Like, you know, you have no idea. And it wasn't horrible, but it was like the best time ever. It was like the best time she's ever had with her family, right? Like, it was going so well. She couldn't even believe it. Like, with her father, with her mother, with her brother, with her friends. Like, it was amazing. And after that, she was going to go and meet me, and we were just like, we've been, you know, best friends on the internet for 3 years, and we had never met. So like, we were so excited, right? So there was like, and so Kirsi, like, you know, was really sad about this thing. And so I sat with her, and it occurred to me, and I was like, Kirsi, could it be that you're having it so good, like you're currently having so much love, so much connection, so many friends, so many loving hearts to connect with that you've never had before? And so you just, your brain doesn't want to believe it. It's like, no, it can't be possible. There cannot not be that much love for me. Like, not for me. It's not possible that there's that much love for me. And so here, I'm going to prove to you that there's not that much love actually. Oh, see those friends, like they don't love you, they're meeting themselves without you, so they don't love you, so you don't really have as much love as you think, because these people don't give a fuck about you, right? And so this is how it works. It's like you start having it really good, and your brain is like, no, like, don't you dare, bitch, like, don't you think, like, you're not that good, like, you don't have it that good, like, let me show you that crap over there. And so you start like creating something to focus on, which is gonna spoil, like, it's gonna be the party pooper, right?
Yes.
And so I just want to, like, you know, like, this is what,
Oh
like,
my God,
this
you brought it down, girl. Yeah, you brought it down. Good job, Claire. That's exactly it. That's exactly, you bring so much clarity to this. So with this clarity, I would love for our listeners, if you can put a comment of where do you think you know you may have been upper limiting, or you are upper limiting. Just put it out there, because when you put it out there, it starts bringing clarity. And because these are so, it's in the subconscious, it's deep in there. Like you see in this example right here, Claire is bringing clarity to me. Ooh.
Clarity.
How much do I owe? Send the bill.
It's in the name. It's in the name.
Love it. I love it. Well, we're gonna conclude here. We thank you all for listening.
Thank you
once again, and we'll meet you next week. Maybe a different time, so stay tuned. We're gonna switch around our time a little bit, maybe.
I'm just gonna keep it interesting.
Yes.
Ciao. See you, friends. Thank you for listening. Hope you had some value. Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear, and can't wait to see you again. Ciao.